Can you talk us through your judge for yourself result?
Bayer 1.
I thought I got rid of it. It's over there. Should I just have it again?
Judge for yourself, to me, is a great opportunity to try out new chemistry, but also to prove in my own mind what the benefits are of some of the new technology that's out there.
Having information that has been generated on our own farm can often be more relevant than trials that are maybe 100 or 200 miles away.
It's quite a nice bit of networking with other like-minded farmers, discussing how we got on and talking about the broader issues in agriculture as well.
Every season seems to have its challenges, and this year was no different. The weather followed a very mild, wet winter, which challenged us in terms of disease already in the crop.
It started off obviously relatively cold in early spring, and that just meant that the crop wouldn't get away. But once actually we got to the middle of April, we got reasonable amounts of rain then.
We measure sunlight in a fairly crude way with our solar panels on the farm building roofs, and they were 20% less in June and July than what they had been the previous years.
Over the recent years, we are doing T0, T1, T2, and because we're all milling wheats, we always do a T3 as well.
Growth stage 39 time is absolutely the number one time to get it right, and that is why we constantly load up that timing with an SDHI at full rate.
For cordial, the T0 and the T1 is, I think, imperative that you get that right. If you let something like yellow rust take hold early on, you will be fighting it all year.
With yellow rust, early control is vital. So we always try and put a trials on at T0, sometimes following a seed treatment specifically for yellow rust, and always target yellow rust at T1 as well. I would rather spend the money early in the season, and then if the season dictates, perhaps save a little bit of money later on.
Septoria is a little bit more difficult, certainly with resistance at the moment, so that is our number one disease that we need to keep on top of.
Septoria in this area is our biggest concern. It's our biggest yield robber. We're growing thick crops, so that is the main disease that we're trying to keep out.
The Septoria control, I think, was very good this year. We did have a challenging time with the weather, but timing was spot on for the applications, and we didn't have any Septoria at all. The crops were clean right through to the floor.
For us, it's very much a case of keeping the leaf clean later on in the growth period, so you get good grain fill, good protein, and also a reduction in mycotoxins.
With all fungicides available to us today, we are concerned about septorial loss of control, potential resistance and sensitivity loss. So we are using chlorothalonil at the early growth stages and trying to build the protectant part of the programme rather than going for any eradicant activity.
I like the fact that it comes in one pack, and I also like the fact that it's got reasonable rain fastness to it.
The formulation of Astra is great because when you're washing cans out, it really came out of the can very easily. It's a very consistent product, and tank mixing abilities are also good.
We've got to have a fast turnaround with the sprayer, and also we have to recycle any containers that we have.
There's no doubt that, again, when the pressure's on, you're wanting to get on spraying. You know, it is possible to make mistakes, and having a one-pack product makes it a lot easier.
Our Judge for Yourself result came in at 11.66 tonnes a hectare this year. That was up on the field average, which was about 10.7. And the Judge for Yourself area was also part of our yen area this year, and it outperformed the complete yen area as well by about half a tonne a hectare.
Our normal T2 application of Adexar yielded 10.52 tonnes per hectare, and our trial plot actually yielded 10.97, so we've got an increase of 4%.
We got 0.4 of a tonne increase over the farm standard across the rest of the field.
The extra yield we gained from the Astra product this year would have been worth about £30 to £40 a hectare for us.
If you put 0.3 tonne a hectare, you know, that's a fairly significant amount, and it certainly pays for the chemical.
So if we could have got an extra 0.4 of a tonne of a hectare across all of our winter wheat this year, that would have been worth about £60 a hectare.
The 4% increase in our yield over the whole of our wheat area that we're looking after would equate to around about £11,000 extra income.
The new chemical Astra gave us good control over diseases this year in the plots, so going forward it's definitely going to have a place in our chemical armoury.
We would definitely use Astra again. It's a product that's worked for us this year. We'll continue to try it and compare it, but 0.3 tonnes to the hectare yield increases. It's a no-brainer to use it again.
I would use Astra again next season. From our experience of it this year, it kept the crop very clean and green and free of disease right to the floor.